Let's clear the airwaves for Congressman Byron Donalds, representing Florida's 19th district and a real superstar on the political scene. Congressman, welcome back to the show. Really, really great to have you with us, sir.
Man, it's good to be back with you. How you doing?
Well, we're doing okay. You know, we're feeling good. I think we're on the right direction. Love your fight. I love that you're on the short list for the vice presidency. And I know you're probably tired of talking about it, Congressman. But I got to tell you, let me pull the curtain back. It's just Joe. Just Jersey talking to Brooklyn, all right? Just for, I know you know. Right. It's like, man, I tell you, you would be so great as vice president. And I like Vivek, and you know, there's some other folks out there that could be great, and I know you're from Florida, but you are so together. When if somebody asks you a question, you have to be covered. You are so covered, you know, Congressman. And I'm telling you, have you talked to the president? Can you leak anything on this show? And I don't want to ask you to break confidences, but you would be just awesome in that position, sir.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do. The only thing I'm gonna say about it, because I don't try to talk about anything going on behind the scenes. Yeah. The only thing I'll say is just tell the president what you told me. Just tell him. Just be like, hey, man, this is what I think.
I will. You know what, Congressman? I feel I'm taking personal responsibility of putting together the next cabinet. I really am. We have everybody on the show. They've been, as a matter of fact, once you guys get in office, I'm not going to have any guests left on the program. You know, they're all going to be, God willing, you know, everybody's going to be like, I'll tell you what, how about that debate? And again, I appreciate your support of Donald Trump. I've known him 100 years, so I can't be objective. And people say, oh, you're a Trump guy. I've known him so long, and it's been great, and he's been gracious. And when you meet him, you know this, Congressman, he'll remember your sick aunt from, 10 years ago when you told him about this. How's your aunt doing? That's who Donald Trump is. But during the debate, he really was the Donald Trump that we wanted to see measured. And it was just I'll tell you what, very exhilarating to watch.
So I'll tell you real quick before we get to the debate, you are right about who Donald Trump is when when the cameras aren't on, when it's just you, him, and a bunch of other people. Yeah. This guy is like, he's the center of gravity in any room he walks into. He's always engaging everybody. Yeah. He listens to people, and this is what most people don't understand. He listens to what people are saying. He asks questions of people. He wants input. He wants to hear perspectives. He really enjoys just getting to know everybody that's around. Loving guy. I've seen him give so much love to people who can do nothing for him. And that's always the way you can measure somebody is if you can do nothing for me, do you still give that person respect? I've seen him do it time and time and time again. People who can't help him win an election, people who, they're not going to be able to write big checks, none of that stuff. He still gives them respect as individual people. That's one of the things that people don't know about President Trump. I wish they would know that if they knew that, this thing definitely wouldn't even be close. But to the debate. Yeah. It was just, everybody knows, it was a disaster. The Joe Biden that you saw is the Joe Biden that the White House and the Democrats have been hiding from the American people the last two to 3 years. He's not the same man he was 4 years ago. He cannot do the job for 4 more years, let alone 4 more months. And that's all before you get to the actual decisions that he made as president. American Rescue Plan caused inflation. Afghanistan killed 13 soldiers, wounded 100 soldiers, wounded so many other people. He's violated separation of powers. He's massively opened up our border. Taxes, he wants taxes to go up, but he doesn't care that his son wasn't paying taxes. So he's talking about everybody not paying their fair share. His own son wasn't paying taxes. I mean, this guy only cares about being president. You could tell Jill Biden only cares about being first lady. That lady's a disaster. They got to go. The country cannot survive this.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Right on the money. Scary. It's scary. And the way Donald Trump had swagger, man, and when he walked off, it's swagger. And I love the way he didn't kowtow to Biden. And then Jill comes over. Did you see that, Congressman? And again, I don't want to say it me. And it was like she walks him down 3 steps, and then everybody just goes, oh, there's something wrong with Joe Biden. And you and me and the rest of the world go, really? You didn't know that? I mean, it's scary at this point, sir.
So I'll tell you, Speaker McCarthy, Speaker Johnson, I've talked to them about when they're in the room with Biden. Everything is scripted. You don't get alone time with him. Now think about this, Joe. Forget politics for a moment. Yeah. This guy is the leader of the country, leader of the free world. Can you name any CEO for any Fortune 500 company that cannot be alone with people at any time of the day, where everything has to be scripted? They can't have one-on-one conversations with people. They just can't walk by a bunch of press people and just start talking to them and answer a bunch of questions. Any CEO, the board would remove that person immediately. They would say, look, dude, you've been great for the company. You can sit on the board. You could be chair emeritus or whatever you want to do, but you cannot run the show. You can't be in charge. But the Democrats and the media have lied to the American people. They have covered up for Joe Biden. And the reason they've covered up is because he's pushing forward the crazy radical left agenda. That was the price for him being president, was, we're going to make you president, Joe, but you got to push the agenda. That's what they've done. So as far as they're concerned, he could stay for 4 more years. They don't care, because what they want to happen is the agenda, first, second, and third.
Yeah, so true. Congressman Byron Donald's taking the time with us. You know, your background, Congressman, while we have you, sir, if I may, is in as a financier, credit analyst. I mean, can we turn this around? I'm seeing people just hurting. Hey, I'm feeling. I'm a single dad. I got 5 kids, 4 that I got to take care of, and it's everything's like triple, quadruple priced. I don't know what's going. How quickly can President Trump turn this around, Congressman?
Well, we could turn it around pretty quickly. It starts with energy. Everything flows through energy. The price of every good starts there. So what you got to do is you got to become even more energy dominant than we were under President Trump, because you need prices on oil, the barrel of oil, prices of natural gas, and all that stuff to come down. When that comes down, what it does is it decreases the cost of transportation. When you decrease the cost of transportation, it decreases the cost of product coming into the stores. That's step one. Step two, we got to get these conflicts under control, because the more that you have conflicts in Ukraine, conflicts in Israel, it has upward prices on commodities, because there's fear in the market. Can you get access to those commodities at a future date when you need them? So President Trump, obviously, he comes back into office. Come on, man. He's going to walk into the room. I'm telling you, Joe, this is how it's going to work. He's going to walk into the room. He's going to look at all these guys, and he'll be like, okay, you had your fun. That's it. We're done. Just like that. And then you're going to get the world conflicts under control. You're actually going to get energy prices down in the United States. We're going to cut a bunch of regulations that are stupid regulations that the Biden administration is putting into effect that we don't need. And then you continue his tax policy, cut taxes in a couple of areas. All that is designed to push down the cost of prices, the outside cost of building anything. That actually lowers prices in the country, stabilizes prices in the country, so the economy can grow faster. People's wages can rise at the new stabilized price levels. That's the recipe of how you do this. Everything I just said, Joe Biden and his entire team at the White House are ignorant to. They don't know what I'm talking about, because these people have not worked in the real world, Joe. These guys are political hacks who just want to get their thing done regardless of the impact.
And the implosion of the geopolitical, the world stage, Congressman. People. What gets me crazy, while we have you, sir, and I don't want to take too much of your time, but I love talking to you, man. It's like this. It's like when you see Putin go into Ukraine, right? That should never have happened. Now that he's there, now they got to say, we got to give all the money to Ukraine, and now we have to put the Band-Aid on. It would have never happened, and you hear people say it, but it's so true. Not only that, to your point about being energy dominant, and from other friends from the former Donald Trump administration, like KT has always told us. She said, McFarland has said that if we were energy dominant, then Iran is broke. Donald Trump put a stranglehold on Iran, and tell me that I'm right when I say this, Congressman, please, that Hamas would have never gone in and caused that Holocaust in Israel on October 7th. That would have never happened, correct? Never happened.
Oh, well, look, before I'm going to get to that, I'm going to tell you, I'm flexible on time. You got me till 9 o'clock. So whatever you want to do, I'm flexible. Anyway, I don't want to mess up the airways, but whatever you want to do, I'm flexible. I got time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
But listen, KT McFarland is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
What we had with Iran is President Trump had the heavy sanctions on, and we were energy dominant. They were broke. They didn't have the money to give to Hamas or to Hezbollah or any of their other outfits to wage war against Israel. So the number one thing that you do, you got to slap those sanctions back on them. And then you have to outproduce them from an energy standpoint, so much so. And that's why I say the price the price of oil has got to come down. The price of nat gas has to come down. It squeezes their economy. The second thing is, and I'm gonna go into the Wayback Machine, because Iran's been a problem for a long time, serious problem under Barack Obama, because he decided he wanted to reverse course in American foreign policy and now normalize relations with the Iranians. Back in 2009, there was a revolution called the Green Revolution in Iran. It was when you had young people in the street. I think it was 09 or 13, one of those years. I can't remember the year. You had young people in the streets of Iran who were protesting the Ayatollahs, who wanted to overthrow the Ayatollahs. When Barack Obama's White House was asked about it, they turned a blind eye and a deaf ear to the Green Revolution. They got no support from the West. All they needed was support from the West to continue the revolution in Iran. Don't you think a revolution in Iran is in our interests, is in Israel's interest, and quite frankly, in the interest of a lot of the Arab nations in the Middle East? Of course it is. This is why the Abraham Accords negotiated by Donald Trump were so revolutionary. And by the way, he should have got a Nobel Peace Prize for that, because he did the thing that every liberal around the globe says that you got to have, which is peace in the Middle East, peace in the Middle East. How long have we heard that mess? He's negotiating peace in the Middle East. He has Arab countries signing it with Israel, but you get crickets. You got to squeeze Iran. You got to put them back in the box.
And he had them right where they should be. Congressman Byron Donalds, Congressman, before we let you go, when you, being brought up in Brooklyn, you know, and with a single mom, and look at all that you've achieved. I admire you so much in that regard, you know. And my mantra has been to help in the at-risk communities. I've always tried to do that my whole life. And here you're a living example of coming from a single, home, a single mother home, and still accomplishing so much. What's the word? What could you tell a young person who is just not seeing it, who is frustrated? You know, I mean, you could give so much to this administration in this regard of helping out those in the stressed area, because you're a living example of what you can do. What positive energy could you give to someone like that, sir, if I may ask?
I mean, a couple things. First, I would say that there's no substitute for the grind. I mean, you just got to grind. See, there's times in life where you just got to do the thing nobody else wants to do. I remember when I first was running for State House, this is 9 years ago, man, I was knocking doors in the rain. Torrential downpour rains. I'm out there knocking doors, man. Nobody knew me. I didn't have much money. You're knocking doors in the rain. You're meeting people. You're talking to people. You got to just grind more than anybody else will do, and then do more than that. I think that's the first piece. Second piece is, don't be afraid of failure. You can't. If you're afraid to fail, then you're never going to succeed. Yeah. So, you have to walk into situations, you got to bet on yourself, and you can't be afraid of failure, because even through the process of it not working out, you learn a lot more about yourself. The third thing I would tell people, listen to your mother. She's right. I mean, look, man, when I was 15, 16, my mom is telling me stuff. I'm like, man, I do not want to hear any of this. Well, when you're 25, 26, you're like, ooh, dang, she was right. So just listen to your mom, listen to your dad. Keep grind. Just work harder than most people, because I think people don't understand that a lot of success doesn't come from the place you end up. It's the process where you just are constantly in the lab, putting your nose to the grindstone, just doing it over and over and over again. Yeah. And through that process, you start to really get that muscle fiber you need to withstand being in the position you want to be. You know what I mean? Like, you can't get to that position without having gone through that work, because when you get there, you're not going to be strong enough to stay.
Yeah, Congressman, you're such an inspiration, and you never flinch, man. When you got people in your face, you don't flinch, and I love that. Vice President Donalds, I like that. I like that. See, I'm saying, I'm gonna. If somebody's listening, they're listening, Congressman. I'm just saying, and if the president asked, I mean, you'd be amenable to something like that, yes, if I may.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, Congressman, thank you so much. Thanks for all that you're doing, Byron Donalds. God bless you. Please come back when you can, all right?
All right. See you later, Joe. Take it easy.
Happy Independence Day, sir. Thank you, Congressman. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, bye.
Congressman Byron Donalds right there. Oh, we're running late. Listen, Al's in the newsroom right now. He's got a quick review of the news for you on AM970, The Answer.
News, opinion, passion. This is AM970.